Okay, I wanted to read off the petition I'm filing at Chancery Court tomorrow. Wanted to get it filed today, ran out of time, and the details would not stop flowing. This problem needs to be nipped in the bud. So in the Chancery Court of Lafayette County, Mississippi, Matthew Oliver Reardon v. Phyllis Marie Crowder Kester, emergency petition for citation of contempt and modification of child custody and child support agreement and other relief. Comes now the petitioner, Matthew Oliver Reardon, files his emergency complaint of contempt and petition for modification of custody against the defendant, Phyllis Crowder Kester. In support thereof, your petitioner would respectfully show unto the court the following. This court has personal and subject matter jurisdiction in the matter. 2. That the defendant, Phyllis Crowder Kester, is an adult resident citizen of Lafayette County, may be served with process at her residence in Lafayette County, Mississippi, or wherever she may be found. That on August, this court entered an agreed order of modification regarding child visitation, a true and correct copy of which is attached hereto as Exhibit A. That the defendant abruptly ceased communication between the plaintiff and his child for approximately 2 weeks, beginning on Christmas Day of 2019, when plaintiff's third child was born at the Tupelo Women's Hospital, breaching the agreement established by this court through intentionally preventing communication between the plaintiff and his minor child. It is of the plaintiff's impression that the defendant's jealousy of a new sibling being born was the willful cause of this contumacious action, due to the defendant demonstrating the same harmful choices and malicious behavior in May of 2018 after the plaintiff's second child was born on April 30th. The plaintiff would further show that the conduct of the defendant as well as the defendant's attorneys have far surpassed self-assuming the role of judge, jury, and executioner, and that the malicious, frivolous, and false claims that have been asserted by the defendant and her attorney have met and exceeded the threshold required for slander, defamation of character, abuse of process, and malicious prosecution. The plaintiff would demonstrate to this court that by admission on a recorded phone call on this date, the defendant admitted to conspiring with her present husband in an obnoxious attempt to falsely accuse the plaintiff of raping her on November 28, 2018. As a result of her criminal actions, Olive Branch Police Department filed a misdemeanor charge and sought a warrant for her arrest in or around January of 2019 for making a false police report. As such, it's the intention of the petitioner to bring separate tort causes of action, seeking remedies to the damages inflicted in the appropriate courts for relief from such actions. Evidence of defendant admitting to such conspiracy with her husband is attached hereto as Exhibit B. As if this wasn't obnoxious enough, and all the legal showboating by the defendant and her attorneys at the intentional compromise of a loving and caring father whom has demonstrated the highest echelon of civility and restraint with defendant, despite the sacred bond between father and daughter severed over and over again at the hands of one that clearly demonstrated a lack of moral turpitude, empathy, and a complete disregard for others, including the minor child. The proverbial last straw came August 26, 2020, when the defendant filed yet again another petition to modify the custody order entered by this court. Said filing not only was a frivolous filing, but one that made no sense whatsoever. The plaintiff would show into this court that through multiple recorded phone calls with Department of Child Services, the plaintiff was advised that complaint, as well as all complaints for that matter, were dismissed as unfounded. And the defendant was and is well aware of that, to include Crowder's most recent attorney, Christy McCoy, who chose to further attack the character of the petitioner, a United States Marine Corps veteran, in a completely vile attempt to defend against the charge levied by Olive Branch Police Department after her client's aberrant, reputable, and downright disgusting false allegation of rape placed on the father of her child. With the attached evidence, petitioner would move this honorable court for a trial at its earliest available time. Petitioner would also move this court to consider the bizarre occurrences that have occurred and to grant petitioner an emergency trial on the said facts and additional evidence the petitioner is prepared to present before this court. And the petitioner would assert that if the court is backed up and unable to grant an emergency hearing to grant the transfer possession of the minor child over to the petitioner, especially in light of the petitioner being denied rights to his child as set forth in the visitation agreement.